Hey guys, today we are going to talk about enhancing your property value, whether it's for resale or for your personal enjoyment. So what is your property valued at? What does it mean to have a comp in the neighborhood that is now going to dictate the price of your home? So I'm going to explain to you what the difference is between market value, appraised value, and perceived value. We all know that everyone scrolls online when they're on the MLS, when they're looking for a home. They're also going to look at Pinterest or Instagram for ideas, and this has kind of spoiled the masses. We didn't have these tools back in the day, but now that we do, the more Instagrammable your house looks actually is probably going to give you the higher value. You can have a comp, and let's use $1 million as an example. You can have a comp in the neighborhood that is most similar to yours, meaning that comparable has similar square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, and aesthetic design, but your house might not have a kitchen that looks as beautiful as that comparable property, or maybe that house has a pool. We have to take all those things into consideration. So what I would recommend when you are looking at enhancing the value of your home, you would get a broker's price opinion or a comparable market analysis from someone such as myself, that's a realtor, or someone on my team. We will look at side-by-side photos and we'll see what it is that comp that sold for $1 million has that your house is lacking. So I'm gonna use a kitchen as an example. If that property has a beautiful kitchen with brand new cabinetry, shaker style, very Instagrammable, modern, beautiful backsplash, and maybe, quartz or marble on the countertops, and your house has some average subway tile and maybe some granite, the chances are the perceived value from the person that's going to be purchasing your home is going to pay more for the house that looks Instagrammable than your house. So what do? We make some small improvements. Those small improvements, depending on how old the kitchen is, or if there's walls that are obstructing it and it doesn't have a very open floor plan, we'd have to look at what the cost is to actually renovate that kitchen to get you to that $1 million value of your comparable property. Now, you don't want to over improve your home, but you want to make sure that the cost benefit analysis of whatever improvements that you're making to that home is going to be justified. So if it's going to cost you $25,000 to renovate that kitchen, then you need to make an additional $25,000 on top of that $25,000 in order for it to be worth it for you. So if otherwise, you'd have to just deduct the price of your home. So if that $1 million home has that beautiful kitchen and your house does not have the beautiful kitchen, you can either spend the money to upgrade it to make a little bit of money, or you reduce the price of your home to make it comparable to the other property. So let's pretend that you decide to renovate that kitchen. So what does that look like? How do you budget for a project like that? A lot of people have to eat and they need to live in their home. Can you actually make a makeshift kitchen somewhere? Are you able to live in your house while this renovation is going on? Otherwise, you're gonna have to consider the cost of actually renting a hotel or staying at a family member's house. And if those costs, if it costs $200-300 a night, you need to take those costs into consideration if you decide to rent. If you decide to stay put, and then you need to make sure that renovation is done very quickly. How do you budget and how do you ensure that renovation is going quickly? Well, you need to have a plan before you even start the renovation. So you would need to order all of the new appliances if you decide to change the appliances. You need to choose your backsplash. You have to, when I say choose, it's not just a photo on Pinterest. It's actually going to the slab yard, finding that slab, making sure that the costs are, remember, if you're selling the house, that the cost of that slab needs to be reasonable. You're no longer living in that house for your enjoyment, so you need to find something that looks good. But remember, you're not renovating it for you. This is for someone else, so it has to appeal to the masses. So don't go buy some crazy Taj Mahal, quartz that costs like $7,000. Maybe do a nice white quartz slab for $1,800 a slab. So you would have to actually make sure that the design aesthetic appeals to the masses. You do some value engineering to make sure that the actual cost of the items that you're purchasing, like for the backsplash or the new faucet or the cute little pot filler or whatever, looks good and is at the property and available to the contractors before you start the renovation. The last thing you want to do is start a project and you're still waiting on these items. So now say you're doing the renovation not for resale value, but you're actually renovating your home so that you can enjoy it. You still need to take these very important value engineering tactics into consideration. Again, you do not want to over-improve your home. So if you're going to go spend $8,000 to $10,000 on a Taj Mahal quartzite, you just want to make sure that that comp, that $1 million comp that we're talking about, has something very similar. Now, the other thing to take into consideration when you are doing renovations for your home, for your personal enjoyment, is to make sure that you are not being excessive and doing things that are too unnecessary and too specific for your taste. You never know what's going to happen around the corner. If you did have to resell your home, it would not be smart to put too much money into your construction project, and you're not going to realize the benefits of that cost on the sale side. So let's talk about some more cost-effective tips for renovations. Say you have beige walls. Well, I'll tell you right now, beige walls are not so Instagrammable. It does cost money to texture, and it does cost money to paint trims and doors and all the other things. You need to consult with a contractor that is able to walk you through what makes sense financially. So for example, if you want to paint the open, airy living room space, but keep those beige walls in the bedrooms and the bathrooms, you could probably do that. Chances are the new buyer for that property might want to customize their kids' bedrooms. A lot of times they show houses where girls' bedrooms have pink walls and boys have blue walls, for example. I would say to really make sure that the paint that you choose and what you choose to paint can save you money if you just pick and choose which areas are most important for resale. So let's talk about the most important rooms in your home that probably needs focus. Not just rooms. There's probably 3 things that need focus, okay? Women and men, depending if they are chefs. I know a lot of men chefs that love great kitchens. They want to make sure that the kitchen, the heart of the home, looks the best. That's probably the first thing that they're going to look at. The second thing would be, obviously, the primary suite. The primary suite is where the homeowner lives, right? So the bathroom is really important. The bedroom itself is really important. And the third thing would be landscape, the exterior facade, and the backyard. So the landscaping needs to be at least very clean. You don't have to spend too much money, but it just has to have a nice curb appeal. And the backyard has to be something that you want to hang out in the summers. So what's the difference between a cosmetic update and a major overhaul? Well, you've seen the houses that have a lot of beams and a lot of walls that make it look very crowded. A real large renovation would require beams and knocking out walls to open up a space. Do you really need to make those major changes in order to realize value? I would say it's a case-by-case basis. It depends on what the other comparable properties look like. If you can make minor changes, such as lightening the paint color, changing that backsplash, maybe getting some new hardware for the cabinets and faucets, those are real easy upgrades that make a huge difference. Lighting in the kitchen is extremely important. What I call the accessories in a home, I call them the earrings. Basically, those are the details that people really love to look at. So I feel like if you have a good plan in place and you choose simple lighting and simple, color coordination with your hardware and your plumbing fixtures, those are simple value engineering tactics that can make your kitchen look better versus doing a full cosmetic overhaul of knocking down walls and adding beams, which requires paint and sheetrock and texturing, and most importantly, time. I've actually sold houses in neighborhoods that were in such high demand, it didn't even matter what the house looked like. Remember, real estate's all about location, location, location. So if you're in a real amazing neighborhood, you need to take that opportunity to make these beautiful minor changes, because you will definitely realize the top value. However, if you're in a neighborhood that has more inventory and homes are taking longer to sell, then I would say the better you make that house look, the more work that you put into that house, the chances are your house is going to sell much faster than the other inventory homes that are just sitting stagnant. So when you walk into a model home, you will notice that everything just looks so clean and so clear, and you can actually envision yourself in that model home. The reason for that is there is no clutter anywhere. You're not gonna walk in and see house keys and purses and pictures and mail stacked up next to the cabinets. You have to make sure that your home is decluttered and looks absolutely clean. I myself am a little OCD, and I think it's because I've sold so many houses and I walk into a lot of homes, and sometimes I have to question the agent. I'm like, does someone live in this house? It looks like it's not even lived in. Now, obviously it's unrealistic for you to live in your home like that all the time, unless you're me or my sister Sarah, because we're psycho about it. But I will say decluttering and making sure that your house is as clean as possible is really important for resale value when you're going to list the home. Like I said, if you're living in the home, obviously you have to live in your home, but that doesn't mean that you can't purchase nice little decor items, Target, Home Goods, just cute little hacks to place things in certain areas to make it look just like a model. And again, Pinterest and Instagram, that's where I learned all my stuff. I would take different photos on Pinterest of what a kitchen floating shelf should look like, maybe some similar colors, keep it really clean. Just keep things decluttered. Less is more. I've seen the most beautiful houses, and then we go to get a home inspection. And when we get that home inspection, sometimes you'll notice that people don't even change their HVAC filters. They are so gross. There's dust everywhere, or, those type of things are really important to ensure that your mechanicals are well preserved. I would say regular maintaining the property, making sure that there are gutters outside, that there's no water that is around the home that's causing issues with the foundation and the shifting. We do live in Texas. Our soils are very different in every area. So watching the foundation, making sure that you are staying on top of cracks, making sure that your landscape is maintained, that the sprinkler system is maintained, your carbon monoxide detectors are not beeping and going crazy. And unlike me, who just rips out the battery and never puts it back up, just make sure that you actually have all the fundamentals of a safe home, and you're not ruining the mechanics of your home by not regularly maintaining the systems. So I feel like it's really important to have your general contractor or an agent who is extremely knowledgeable in construction walk your property prior to getting it on the market. If you walk a property with one of these professionals, they're going to point things out to you that you probably never even noticed before. You're living in the home, you're living fine, but what works for you may not work for the next buyer. So I would say definitely get someone to go through the house with you and maybe take a sample inspection and just look at what is on those inspection reports so that you can get ahead of it. When you go to market, the less that comes back on your inspection report, the less tools you're going to give that new buyer opportunities to negotiate with you on. I would definitely recommend giving me a call if you would like me to come by with my team to walk your property and ensure that it is ready to be staged. And we will also give you tips and tricks on how to maximize the value using our value engineering tactics so that you can get top dollar for your house. Just remember, make sure you don't do things for other people. You have to do things for the masses. So if you feel that you need to add an outdoor kitchen or that you want to paint the office green, don't make those decisions unless you consult with an agent or someone who really knows what's going to sell and where your money is going to be best spent. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can maximize the value of your home, give us a call. Set up a consultation, we'll come by and we will make sure to give you techniques that is going to make you the most money. And if you think that this information was helpful, subscribe and let me know if you need more information regarding whatever topic. I'd love to give you some more.